Hey guys, Devin with ReefDudes, and today we're starting a bit of a new mini-series called AskReefDudes. And if you haven't seen it, it's a new section on the site, reefdudes.com/ask, and you can come in and ask any question you want, anything reefing related. Just put in your name, email address, and your question, and we'll try and ask it as soon as we possibly can. So today I have a question from Simon, a fellow Canadian reefer, and Simon writes and asks, he says, "Hey Devin, thanks for putting out all your vids. You're most welcome, and I really appreciate you guys watching it." So he says they're definitely helpful and informative. He's been a discus keeper for several years, but has the bug for saltwater, and he wants to take the plunge. And because we all know saltwater isn't the cheapest hobby, he wants to make sure he does things right and doesn't waste any money. Is first of all starting out, so where did I get my current tank? So I'll give you a bit of a backstory at first. My first saltwater tank was a 12-gallon Fluval Edge. After that, I went up to a 24-gallon Innovative Marine, which unfortunately that tank cracked. It was a very kind of traumatic experience. Thankfully, I was home. The poor puppy was right beside the tank. Literally 5 minutes after we walked in the door, there was this big bang. The puppy's beside in saltwater's spraying down at him. I'm sitting there trying to duct tape the tank together. It was interesting, but thankfully we were home, so we were able to get everything in buckets. But regardless, the next tank from that for me was a 30-gallon Innovative Marine tank, and now finally my custom tank. Now this tank was designed by myself. I designed it in a program called SketchUp and 3D modeled the whole tank, stand, everything. And I got a company in Calgary, I believe it is, called Concept Aquariums. So I designed it all, sent them what I wanted, and they built it for me. So that's where my current tank was. So completely custom, so not something you'll find in a store. But if you are just starting out and want a smaller tank, I would recommend an all-in-one tank. If you want a large tank, then, that's up to you. But any specific questions on that, let me know in the comments below. Second question, where would you go to get your major items like skimmers, lights, pumps, and controllers? So since you're Canadian, the places I would recommend personally, I have bought a bunch of stuff from my local pet stores. Since you're probably somewhere else, the online ones I'd recommend is J&L Aquatics near Vancouver, British Columbia. The second one is Pets and Ponds, and I believe they're in Ontario. And the other one of my favorite stores for online is reefsupplies.ca, and they're out in Quebec. And they've been great, really good competitive prices. So check out the three of them, kind of shop around and see what you like the best. Third question. What are the lights you're using, and are you happy with them? Would you change them if you could? I would absolutely not. I originally picked these lights when I had my 30-gallon tank. Again, one thing I would say is, if you're like me, I will tend to upgrade eventually. I'll get something, I won't be happy, I'll want the better stuff eventually. So if you're trying to save money, it's almost worth saving up and just buying the good stuff from the start. So with my lights, originally on my 30-gallon tank, I could have got one XR30, but because my tank was 36 inches long, it would have had a little bit of shading on the edges. So I chose to go with two XR15s over one XR30 so that I could split the pucks up and have a better light distribution. Now, when I upgraded to my 100-gallon reef, the lights, I already had two XR15s, so it just made sense to buy two more. So that's why I have them. The lights themselves, they're awesome lights. You got great controllability and great color with them. And tons of people have had success with them. So I would definitely recommend the Ecotex XR30s. There's tons of places and there's lots of coral facilities that use it. So I would 100% recommend them. If you had a canopy on your tank, it might be worth looking at doing a LED T5 hybrid. If I had a canopy or the top was enclosed, I would probably do something similar. But for aesthetic wise, I'm sticking to just LEDs. They're tiny, they're sleek, and they look great on the tank. So to the fourth question, do you or have you purchased any corals online? And if so, where from? Any recommendations? So the few places I have used, one site, fragbox.ca, I've done a couple group buys through them. I've also Canada Corals. They're same thing, I've done an order or two through them. Usually with my local club online on Facebook, they do group buys, and that's usually when I'll jump in and grab something, just because it makes shipping a little cheaper. The other one I've ordered from a couple times is J&L Aquatics, so that was one of the hardware recommendations from earlier. And all three of them have been great. I haven't had any issues with any of them. All my corals have arrived and been happy, so no complaints. So hopefully that kind of helped you guys out a bit. If you guys want to know anything specific about my tank, what I do, or just a general reefing question, head over to reefdudes.com/asks and let me know. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to keep up to date with more great videos from ReefDudes.